Chung and Fillmore exposed that gender has implications for refugees' integration outcomes and thus for social policy. The integration process itself is gendered and intersectional. Due to the gendered nature of the integration process, gender-sensitive measures are vital to ensure that women are enabled equal opportunity to men. The main theoretical concept or framework that was adopted within the study was through the concept of integration. As the authors of the article Chung and Fillmore state, integration can be defined as the process by which immigrants become accepted into society. They elaborate, however, that there is no clear consensus within academia as to what integration actually means or encompasses. Indeed, some consider it to be a two-way process that involves both the migrants and host societies. Others argue that it is a negotiation of sorts between different cultures and contexts. Chung and Fillmore introduced the notion of gender as being a factor that determines integration outcomes. Chung and Fillmore argue that there has been little or no study into the intersection between gender and refugee integration, and argue that too little attention in refugee integration policy, specifically in the UK, has been paid to understanding gender outcomes in refugee integration. They believe that social policy fails to take into account the multidimensionality of integration or exploration of gender differences, for example, the areas of health and language. The authors argue that outcomes for asylum seekers within areas such as these differ depending on the gender of the asylum seeker. They further suggest that gender is a large contributor of refugee outcomes due to experiences of gender stereotyping and discrimination both within women's home communities and by the policymakers in the host countries, which they seek to identify within the study. Lastly, they argue against the current one-size-fits-all policy approach towards integration, arguing for specific policies aimed towards different genders. The survey was conducted through 4 different ways, representing 4 different periods of time. The hypothesis that language was a key driver of social outcomes for refugees proved to be true. Through their analysis of the UK survey of new refugees, they found that male refugees 1.56 times more likely to report a higher level of language proficiency during Wave 1, but by the time of Wave 4, women had reached an equal level of language proficiency. The authors found that key to language development in the first wave was the establishment of personal and formal networks. They also found that in countries that had previously been colonised by the British, such as Zimbabwe, both male and female refugees reported better English proficiency in comparison to countries without any prior colonial relationship to the UK. Another area of evidence in which outcomes between the genders are shown to differ can be found in the area of health. Here, the authors found that men reported to be 3 times in better health than women. They also found that language proficiency was a key driver of better health reported by the male respondents.